What? That is called Stockholm Syndrome. Swoon. I need to make some coffee. Hi everyone, Renee here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting a 24-hour readathon. Now, when I say 24-hour readathon, I definitely do not mean that I'm going to stay up all hours of the night and not sleep. I need my sleep. I need my 8 hours, so that will not be happening. But pretty much it is New Year's Day and I really wanted to start the year strong, and I was in such a bad reading slump last year that I really just want to start off with a bang. So while I still have days off work, I have been off work since December 23rd, but I do go back on the 3rd. So I wanted to use this time to really just focus on reading. So I'm going to be doing a 24-hour readathon style vlog. I'm going to be checking in with you throughout the day, letting you know my progress, and yeah, we're pretty much just gonna hang out, you and me. So I don't have a solid list of books that I know I'm definitely gonna read in this. I just kind of pulled out some that I feel like I might be in the mood for. So I'm just gonna go through them rapid fire since these are just potential nominees. So just so you can see what might be coming in this vlog, we have Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is my current read, so this will probably get read. This is a fantasy romance. We have Lemon by Kwon Yo-sun. This is a Korean translated book, I believe, and I think it's like a psychological... I'm actually not too sure. This is like an unknown for me, but I am very interested in it. Then we have Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie, second book in the Addicted series. Hidden Pictures, which is a thriller slash horror, debatable I guess. And then I also have a couple manga. I have volumes 4 and 5 of Waiting for Spring because I do want to start catching up on this series as well. So these are kind of the potentials that I pulled out. I'm not 100% sure if I'll get to all of these, and you know, I might pull some other ones out if my mood switches in the next 3 hours, but for now these are kind of what we're going to be working with, and we'll see how that goes and how well I can start out 2023. So without further ado, I am just gonna go make a cup of coffee and get really cozy on my couch and start reading. Oh, also I realized that I forgot to tell you what time this is at. So it is currently like 3:41. So I think I'm gonna start this at 4. Then we will read until 4 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah, T-minus 19 minutes. I have my coffee, I'm gonna grab a snack, cuddle up on the couch, and read. Okay. So it's just a little past 8 and I have an update I just wanted to talk to you guys about. So I've been reading Guild and I am roughly 135 pages in. I'm on chapter 13, so what am I doing? So I've made a decent amount of progress. I'm almost halfway through. Considering this started at 4, not quite as far as I wanted to be with the reading at the moment, but I did take a break to eat dinner. But so far my updates with Guild is pretty mixed, and honestly I think it's kind of my own fault because I definitely should have looked up trigger warnings before reading this, and I actually went back and watched vlogs of people who I know that have read this and recommended this, and they definitely said look up trigger warnings, and I definitely ignored that. But yeah, that being said, first and foremost, look up trigger warnings because this is, in my opinion, I guess more of a dark fantasy romance based on what's going on in here. And up until the last chapter, chapter 12, my cat's knocking on the door. But trigger warnings aside, I will say up until the last chapter, chapter 12, it was quite a bit boring in the beginning. I feel like nothing major was really happening that was of any relevance. It was just stuff that I didn't really want to read. But that being said, now that we've gotten to chapter 12, that's why I took a break, because I wanted to kind of gather my thoughts before going forward, because I feel like something is about to change here and I feel like it's about to get a lot more interesting, and I actually am starting to get a lot more engaged with the story. But there is one thing that I want to point out, and I'm saying this now just in case like me later is correct and me later might be wrong, but given where I'm at in this book right now, in my mind, I do not believe that we have a romance. I say that because the only characters that I have seen outside of our main protagonist are just men who are not that great. And if the romance is with the guy that I'm starting to assume it is, then sis, that is not romance. That is called Stockholm Syndrome. And I don't like that. And if it really does in fact end up being that way, then I definitely am not going to continue with the series. But I might be wrong. I hope I am wrong. That was kind of my main thoughts so far. I'm excited to see where this is going. Chapter 13, I hope it turns around, and I hope that there is just a swoon-worthy, dreamy, like, soldier that I haven't met yet. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So with that being said, I am gonna go continue reading and see how much I can get done. I'm definitely gonna try to finish this tonight. Wish me luck. It is 10:41. I don't know if you could see that. I also don't know why, like, the not playing thing keeps popping up on my phone, but it's 10:41 and look at how little I have left. I literally can't believe that I just read that fast. I'm on chapter 31. It like flew by. I'm like shocked. And you know what? I've heard people say that this is extremely bingeable, and they are not lying. So I'm gonna finish it real quick. I'll be right back. (11:31). You can see that my sleep focus has come on because it is now my bedtime. But I did finish Guild. I can't believe I finished this in one evening. And to think that I did that, and for the whole first like quarter of the book, I wanted to DNF it. And then I just demolished it afterwards. So I will say by chapter 12, when I said that earlier, it did pick up a lot, and we definitely got a lot more into the plot. And also I think I said something earlier about the love interest. I don't know if I'm right actually, but I have an assumption, which if I am right, it's giving Tamlin and Rhys. If you know, you know. But also this is only book 1, so I'm not sure if that assumption is correct, but I'm actually really looking forward to reading more of the series. It's really funny because earlier I remember saying I didn't think I wanted to read more, but I think I am going to progress with this series. But for book 1, I think I am going to give it 3 stars, and that's mainly because I think I need to sit and reflect on it a little bit more, because I didn't dislike it and I also didn't love it. But regardless, I do want to read book 2 just because of how this one ended. It ended very well, all things considered. Since it is 11:30 and my sleep focus is on, and I have been really making an effort to adjust my sleep schedule and get my full 8 hours of sleep, I think I do need to go to bed. This will probably be my last update of the night, but I'm gonna try to start another book before I go to sleep, like a nice little like maybe 15-20 minute wind down reading session, and then wake back up and pick it back up. So I will have an update for you in the morning. Until then, good night. Good morning. So it is almost 10 o'clock. I woke up a little later than I wanted to. I literally set my alarm for 8 o'clock and I still woke up like at 9. Yeah, I got ready. It's almost 10 o'clock, so I am gonna start reading. I do have an update. So last night I did read a bit of Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I only got to the first like 20 pages, but so far I'm really liking it. I feel like now that the beginning got going, because I do remember being a little bit bored in the first book, but I feel like now that I'm deeper into the plot, it's going a little bit better. So I'm on chapter 2, but I woke up this morning and I had an epiphany that I really want to start reading Lemon. I don't know why, I'm just in the mood for a little book like this. It is fairly short as well. It's like less than 150 pages and it's kind of tiny. So I'm really just curious to see what this is, and I know I can read this before the readathon is done. So I'm gonna start this, but first I need to make some coffee. Okay, so this lighting is weird, but I didn't feel like getting up and getting my ring light. But it is 11:40 now, and I have read up to page 71 in here. So I'm about halfway through, and this is so good so far. I went into this with literally no expectations because I honestly didn't even know what it was about. Just like a Korean translated book, supposed to be like a psychological literary fiction type of book, which I was very intrigued by. And essentially so far you're going through as they're trying to figure out who murdered this girl, and you're in the perspective of like some of the suspects, her sister. You're getting different pieces of different people throughout, and it's really gripping so far. I'm really enjoying this a lot, and I'm pleasantly surprised. But it is 11:30 and I'm kind of hungry now, so I think I'm gonna make something to eat and then continue on with this. So I finished this and I really enjoyed this. I thought that this was very thought-provoking and so different from anything else that I've read before. And I'm kind of hesitant to give it a rating. Oh wait, time. It is 1:32. So I still have a couple hours and then some to read some more. But first, for my opinion of Lemon, it's definitely unlike anything I've read before. And I think I need to sit on it for a little bit before I give it a proper rating, because this was a pretty ambiguous story. I don't know if ambiguous is the right word, but it's definitely a little bit more open-ended, even though you can kind of piece it together as you go. Now this starts out as kind of like a whodunit story, like who murdered this girl. But as you go through the book, you slowly start realizing it's so much more than that. It touches on class and society values and beauty standards in Korea, and it's a much deeper novel than that, or novella even, because it's so short. And I'm not gonna lie, the ending, I kind of stared at the last page for a minute and I was just like, because it's one of those books where it's like you don't even realize it's ending. So I understand to some people that can be a little unsatisfying, but through reflection, I think it's so much deeper than that, and I really appreciate how the author ended this. And I'm really shocked actually, because usually I'm so guilty at looking at Goodreads before I read anything, but I didn't with this one. And I went to look just briefly. If you hear clanging, it's my boyfriend cooking something. I went to Goodreads and I looked at it just to see if I was like getting the same kind of reflection as everyone else. And that's when I saw the rating, a 3.33 on Goodreads. And I was just like, well, damn. Because I really liked this. I think that this is a very almost misunderstood book, but all in all, I can see why other people might not like it as much. But for me, it worked. So that being said, I have about 2.5 hours left, and I kind of want to break up my novel reading for a minute. So I have volumes 4 and 5 of Waiting for Spring, which is a manga series I really love, but unfortunately haven't continued. I didn't continue it at all last year. So I have the next 2 volumes, and I think I'm gonna start getting into these. So let's do it. So I finished these. Manga never really takes long to read, so I knew that I could crush these in like an hour. But diving back into the story, I immediately want to buy the next like 2 or 3 volumes. It's just getting so good. And then the relationships in here, both friendship-wise and romance-wise, swoon. So yeah, loved them. Really loved them, which is great because volume 3 I found kind of boring. So my love is rehashed. But that being said, it is 2:30. So is it 2:30? 2:30 on the dot. So I have an hour and a half left. So I think I'm gonna make a quick lunch and then continue reading Ricochet. I know that I'm not gonna finish it, but I wanna see how far I can get before 4 o'clock or by 4 o'clock. Yeah. Okay, so it is 3:59. I don't know how well you can see that, but it is almost 4 o'clock, which I started this readathon at 4 p.m. yesterday. So that being said, we're done. And the book that I was reading for the last about hour and a half was Ricochet, and I was about 15 pages into this when I started. I'm now on page 75, which is chapter 4, and that's crazy that we're almost 100 pages in and I'm not even to chapter 5 yet. These chapters are so long for what reason? But I'm liking it so far. I think it's okay. I know that there's a lot of hype around the series, and I'm really trying to get on that hype train, and I like it, I do, but it doesn't stick out to me. I'm still gonna finish reading this. I do plan on continuing with the series. I'm hoping that once I get more into it, I like it more, because I already do like it more just reading this one. I think I'm enjoying this more than the first one, so that is a good sign. That is the end of the 24-hour readathon. I'm actually so excited. So this is what we read. That's pretty decent. 2 of them were manga, 1 of them I didn't finish, but regardless, we have 5 books here and 4 of them were finished. So I am starting the year. It is January 2nd and I get to plug 4 books into my Goodreads read for 2023, and I feel really good about that, because with my reading slump last year, I drastically missed my Goodreads goal last year. So it's gonna be nice to have it say that I'm ahead for once in like 8 months. But yeah, I think my favorite book that I read / I'm reading out of this was probably Lemon, and that really surprised me because I did not expect anything out of this book. Also the manga, obviously I really love that series. So this is our stack. Pretty successful. I love filming 24-hour readathons. I think they're super fun. I think I kind of want to try one where I do the time stop, where it might not just be over the course of like 1 to 2 days. It might be like a week, as long as it's like 24 hours reading fully, just so I can see how much I can really read in 24 hours, because it's been 24 hours, sure, but I slept for like 8 to 9 hours. I was eating, you know, it wasn't like a solid 24 hours that I was actually reading. So I think I might try the other way next time just to see how it goes. But I'm gonna need to make sure that I have a decent amount of time on my hands when I do that. So I don't know when that's gonna be. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up down below to help support this channel, and also subscribe to follow me on my reading journey if you're not already. Like always, all of my socials will be linked down below: Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads, the works. And yeah, once again, I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!